going to make some brief introductory remarks here and then take you up top onto the breast of the reservoir. As a bit of background, again, my name is Tim Schaeffer. I'm the Executive Director of Audubon, Pennsylvania. We're the state office of the National Audubon Society. The National Audubon Society has 26 state programs around the country, one of which is here in Pennsylvania. And we have a couple key places that we're working. Our headquarters is in Harrisburg. We operate the John James Audubon Center at Mill Grove, which is in Montgomery County, about a half hour, 45 minutes from here, where we house the largest collection of Audubon art anywhere in the world. And we're in the process of building a new center there to really connect people with nature by using art. We have regional important bird area coordinators, one based in Meadville, just south of Erie, another one based in Harrisburg, and one that serves southeastern Pennsylvania. And really our signature project in the city of Philadelphia right now is trying to develop a center here at the East Park Reservoir. If you come away, I just like three goals today. One is to show you the site. The second is to get you excited about the site. And third is if you're interested in getting more involved with it long term, for you to let me know that. We don't have any other purpose than to show you the site and to get you excited today. We think this will probably wrap this up in about a half hour, 45 minutes. I'd like Joe to tell you a little bit about where we are, how this is part of the city's water supply, and then we can transition into the programming that we're doing here. So Joe, can you just tell folks what we're about to see up there? And they have maps here also.
Okay, up top there's 4 basins, as you can see from this little picture. There's one in-service basin for the water department that's on the 33rd Street side. We're not really going to be concentrating on that. We're going to be concentrating on this area that's marked West Basin. It's an abandoned in-place, approximately 45-acre surface area, man-made reservoir from the late 1800s. Original capacity was 330 million gallons of water. That's it when you can put 32 feet of water in there. We've had to, over the years, make some dike adjustments here and lower the dike on one side, so now it only holds approximately 7 feet of water. But it's still 7 feet of water times 45 acres. Quite a bit of water up there. And abandoned in place means it's no longer used by the water department. It hasn't seen chemicals, hasn't been part of the treatment process for years.
I was really happy when I came on board about a year and a half ago. Keith brought me to this site soon after I started, and it was just so inspiring, and as you're going to see once you get up there, what's possible there. We also that day did a trip through the neighborhood just as all the schools were letting out. And you had thousands and thousands and thousands of school kids filing into the streets at the same time that this gem was behind a barbed wire fence on the other side of the street, and they'd never been here. And what we really did is refocus our effort to focus on the programming at the site rather than the building. What are we trying to do? How are we trying to connect people with this site? Then let the building follow from that. And since then, Keith's going to make some remarks up top about the birds you'll be seeing. We've got Keith on board. He's now working with schools in Strawberry Mansion, working with the Mander Rec Center, taking summer camp kids throughout Fairmount Park to show them the birds and the habitats that are here. Also, since the project got started about a year and a half ago, this site was designated as one of 82 important bird areas in Pennsylvania. We have 82 sites that, because of the habitat quality or the types of species that use it, we believe merit extra conservation, and an independent team of scientists have verified it and actually recommended this be one of our IBAs, or important bird areas. So we're doing programming at the site. The conclusion that we've come to is that if you look back at your map, is that we'll likely build something. If you look at the lower left-hand corner, where there's a bend, a pretty pronounced bend, right across from, if you see where Day Nurse is, that's Smith Playground. Across from there, we anticipate building some sort of structure, probably not as large as was originally thought. That's because we don't think that you need something as large to be there to actually do the programming on the site. We're also right now in negotiations with someone along 33rd Street to try to put a storefront facility there. So could we actually accomplish our goals by having a presence in the community as well as up here at the reservoir site? We anticipate having a system of trails around the site, viewing platforms, kiosks up there, because as Keith will show you up there are times that there'll be hundreds and hundreds of waterfowl that are using with that. Again, I might say some more normally, but we'd like to really get us up there so we don't get too soaked.
Is rainwater and snow melt. Originally, the basins were all filled from a structure over on 33rd Street side. There's no pipe work that runs into the basin. There's no way to fulfill it. The way they designed it in the 1800s is a little bit different than the way modern reservoirs are.
Well, my name is Keith Russell, and I'm an outreach coordinator with Audubon, Pennsylvania, and we're here at the East Park Reservoir in Philadelphia, and this is a actively used water department facility that has been in existence since the 1880s. It's one of the oldest facilities of its type in Philadelphia, and we're here today looking at birds that are on part of the reservoir grounds in a large lake called the West Basin. This is a facility which is in Fairmount Park. Fairmount Park is a park that has 9,200 acres of land in Philadelphia that's scattered throughout the city. It's one of the largest parks, urban parks in the world, and it is part of a series of locations throughout Pennsylvania that are called important bird areas. The Important Bird Area program is basically a conservation program that has been started in Europe by a group called BirdLife International, and it is managed in the United States by the National Audubon Society. And the program basically exists to identify areas that are considered essential to the survival of wild bird populations. And to date, we've identified about 83 important bird areas in Pennsylvania. Important bird areas are basically areas that have met a number of different criteria that have been set up by the Important Bird Area program. And Fairmount Park was recognized as an important bird area because of the diversity and concentration of birds that are found within the park. The park is a great area for birds throughout the year. The largest number and variety of birds, though, occur probably during the migration, during the spring and the fall, when birds come through from South America, from Central America, the Caribbean, and the southern United States, migrating north to their breeding grounds. Some may be coming here to nest, some may be going as far away as Alaska. But during the spring, these birds come north, and Philadelphia is on one of the main migratory flyways that they use. So huge numbers of birds come through Philadelphia every year during the spring. They need places to rest and refuel during their flight, and they stop here in Philadelphia, and a lot of them use Fairmount Park as an area to rest and feed. And that happens again during the fall. Birds come south, and they come through Philadelphia in very large numbers. So this is one of the main areas that birds use on their migratory flights to rest and refuel, and it really is a critical place for birds. But the Fairmount Park Important Bird Area also is important because it has a large number of birds during the breeding season and during the winter season. There are not as many as during other times of the year, but it's still an important area for breeding birds as well as wintering birds. And it's an area that a lot of people who live in the city know about, but not necessarily people from outside of the city. So we're hoping that people will investigate the park. It's a great area to come, not only for birds, but for plants, for all types of wildlife.
And that's the reason that we're focused on this site so much. If this were out in the middle of sticks somewhere and it would be really inaccessible, I'd suggest that we wouldn't be as interested in this. But it's just got this perfect convergence of great habitat, a great place to tell people the story about water quality and about habitat management. And you've got thousands of people living right across the street that have never been here. We're working actively right now with the East Park Revitalization Alliance. Hiley Johnson and Tatiana Granados stopped by but had to get back to work. They're really helping to connect us to the community. They're the ones that helped Keith get into the Mander Rec Center this summer, and we were part of their summer program. As I said, Keith's developing relationships with the schools. We're actually bringing kids out here now. And because of the timing of when the birds are here, it's great because we can be working with the school kids in the spring, at the beginning of the fall, prepping them for when the really charismatic waterfowl are going to be out here. We're also developing a partnership with the Philadelphia Zoo to develop a banding station. Right now, we're not sure if it's going to be on the inside or the outside of the fence, but it's going to be right around here, where we're going to monitor birds that come through during the spring and fall migration to assess the quality of the habitat here, and if they're using, we know they're using it as a stopover point, but is the habitat such that It's really benefiting them on their migration, and is there a way that we can maybe use that data to inform the management decisions of the Fairmount Park Commission? I mean, this is science in action here. Keith has been working with Joe and others from the water department to make recommendations on how we manage the vegetation around here to get the waterfowl back. We're also working with the staff at the Fairmount Park Commission to make management recommendations to them throughout the park about things they could be doing to improve the songbird habitat that's here. So it's really a place for applied conservation to be taking place, a place to bring kids over here, get them excited about it. And also we're starting to build an internship program and almost a career program where kids can think of, hey, this might be something I could actually do as a job and make it relevant to their lives.